Hello and welcome back, everyone. My name is Natalie Schlute. I'm your manifestation coach, and today we are talking about how to reduce stress by using the law of detachment. I feel like we live in a very go, go, go world today, especially with all the things we have with electronics, social media, computers. Everyone's got a phone in their hand, and everything is so instantaneous. Decades ago, when I was a kid, we didn't have computers, we didn't have cell phones, and it was a day and age where you're really a lot more present with life, where you were more in the moment. You know, if you were out somewhere and you didn't have a phone, you didn't have something that people were connecting to you with, and you were more in your current reality. But I think nowadays, we live in a totally different world. We live in a world where we're constantly bombarded by information. We're constantly bombarded by the American dream of pushing and pushing and hustling in order to reach something, in order to reach that happiness, that joy, that financial abundance, that thing that we think is on the other side, right? The grass is always greener on the other side. And it causes so much stress. There's this feeling of not being good enough because we haven't attained what we think we're supposed to attain in life. But in reality, life is just about living it. Life is just about being present, being in the moment, and experiencing the world around you as it is, and being more self aware and choosing how you're showing up for life. So, in order to help us de stress and to get out of that stressful, chronic spiral biologically that we're experiencing of just always feeling frazzled and afraid and just like an emotional stress case, because I don't know about you, I get sucked into that pattern very, very easily too. And the more I'm on social media, the more I'm on my phone, the more I'm on the computer, the more I feel that hype and that energy within me where it's like this buzzing stress. But what's really important is to start allowing yourselves to detach, not only from the physical things around us, like our phones and our computers and the TV and all of that, but to actually mentally and emotionally detach from our thoughts and the things that we're holding on to that aren't necessarily serving us. And so I'm going to be going into how we can use the law of detachment in order to help heal ourselves and heal our stress and actually raise our vibration so we can manifest more of what we want to, because that's what my show is all about. That's what I'm here teaching, is every lesson that I teach, whether it's specifically talking about manifestation or not, is about manifestation. So whether I use the word, whether I use the law of attraction or not, this is all here to help you live your best life, to help you feel better, to help you think better, to help you have more clarity, more joy, to be more present, because that's what I want for you. I want you to be living your best life, and I want you to be inspired after every single episode that you listen to. I have a wonderful freebie for you that goes along with this particular episode and is on the 7 spiritual laws. Deepak Chopra, he has a great book, and I just kind of broke down all the different laws for you. And one of them is the law of detachment. And I think it's such an important law because it's one that has a lot of paradoxes to it. And I think it's so essential when we learn how to detach, when we learn how to surrender and go more with the flow of life, that allows us to release a lot of the baggage and energy that we're holding on to that's actually just weighing us down and slowing us down from being in our highest and best emotional self, mental self, and attracting the best of what we want in life too. So be sure to check out the show notes below so that you can get that link and get that freebie. Be sure to subscribe, like, and hit that bell so you get notified every time I have a new episode for you. When it comes to life, nothing is permanent. There is nothing that is certain. Things are always changing. Every moment, there is never anything that is static or still. Therefore, we can never actually get stuck. The only time we get stuck is when we think we get stuck. But being stuck is actually an illusion. And so when we understand that life is not permanent, everything is always flowing, everything is always changing from moment to moment. Even if it feels the same, it's technically not. Every moment is a new moment. And so everything is fleeting. Nothing is stationary. Nothing is permanent. And therefore, to hold on to something, to have, this tension or this chokehold or this mental concept around something being the same and then feeling bad if it changes or shifts, we need to detach from that concept. Detach from the idea that things are going to stay the same or that things ever were the same. Since there is nothing that's permanent and things are always flowing and moving, then there is nothing stationary. There is nothing to hold on to or attach to begin with. And so when we understand it from that perspective, this concept and this construct and idea that because nothing is ever static or stationary, that there is nothing stationary to attach yourself to, therefore it's important to detach from everything that you think is solid and real. And so understand that when we have these fixed ideas in our mind, an idea that there's a certain outcome that we want, we have certain expectations. While having those concrete expectations and ideas of what's going to come in the future, often we're disappointed because we've attached ourselves to this concept in our mind that isn't true and isn't actually reality. And so then we become disappointed. And then we get frustrated and angry and resentful because we're disappointed by the idea in our head not being met. And this is where learning how to detach from our expectations and learning how to detach emotionally from certain things can really help to bring us a lot of peace. I'm not saying never have any expectations, because I think it's important to hold high standards for yourself and for your loved ones and the people you surround yourself by. But at the same time, if those standards and those expectations aren't met, it's how you respond to those downfalls, those things that are not met, that really determine how you're going to feel. And so you can have high expectations, but if they're not met, don't let it bring you down. Detach from the outcome of that expectation, because when we put things on a pedestal, when we put an outcome on a pedestal, or an idea or a person or something that we expect to happen in the future, and then it doesn't happen in the way or the time that we think it will, suddenly we're let down and we become overly attached. And you actually create more peace through that surrendering and through the letting go process and just honoring and loving what is. The more we detach, the more we let go of, the more we can find the beauty and the joy in the present moment. The more we can find all of the wonderful lessons and the gratitude and appreciation for what is, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. It's okay to be disappointed sometimes. In life, we're going to experience disappointments, but it's how long you hold on to the disappointment that makes the difference. If you hold on to disappointment, resentment, anger, frustration of something that didn't go the way you wanted it to, or didn't turn out the way you wanted it to, then that's on you. It's up to you. You can spend a minute feeling disappointed, upset, and frustrated. You can spend an hour, or you can spend 10 years holding on to that energy. And the longer you hold on to the low vibrational energy, the harder it is for you to manifest more of what you want. The harder it is for you to find peace, joy, and love in your life, because you're holding on to these heavy negative vibrations. I'm also not saying move through it so quickly that you don't actually feel and process your emotions, because it is important to feel the way you feel and to experience your emotions. And I don't want you to sideswipe that either. But you get to choose how long you hold on to it. You get to choose your time frame of processing things. What happens for most people is we feel disappointed, we become overly attached, we get frustrated and angry at certain things that changed in our life and didn't turn out the way we wanted to. And in that moment, often as a protective mechanism, we start to create these walls, and then we just suppress those feelings. Instead of choosing to process the emotions, to allow ourselves to feel, and then shifting our perspective so that we have a healthier way of approaching that disappointment. Often people just feel disappointed, they don't like the way they feel, and then they just shove it down. They don't do the work to move through it, and then it becomes repressed emotion that you're holding on to for an extended period of time. And this is an unconscious process, and it's simply because many of us were not taught how to process our emotions when we were children. The far majority of us, I don't know what the percentage is, I know it wasn't me. I didn't learn this stuff when I was a kid, and I'm pretty sure most other people didn't either. I'm sure there are some lucky few that had wonderful parents that were very well educated in communication and trauma therapy and whatnot, and could explain it all to their kids. And awesome, kudos for you guys. But that wasn't my experience. It took me until my late 20s to figure out how to actually process my emotions and how to heal my traumas and how to shift how I think and feel, while still not suppressing, but letting myself experience things and then choosing a new way of thinking and feeling, so that when these situations come up in the future, I no longer respond the way I used to respond. I now respond in a more mature, a more evolved way, where I'm not feeling so hurt. I'm not feeling so disappointed. I'm experiencing more surrender, more joy, more detachment, right? It's coming back to mastering the feeling of detachment so that you live a better quality life, mentally, emotionally, and physically. We all get to choose how we think and feel about every given situation that we encounter in everyday life. And that freedom allows us to choose our experience. It allows us to choose our destiny. It allows us to release resistance by detaching from outcomes. We actually release all the resistance that we're holding on to, release all the tension, and we actually find more peace and more joy and more acceptance, more gratitude for what is, gratitude for the lessons that we get to learn, and gratitude for the outcomes and how we can move forward in a better way because of what we've experienced. Detachment actually brings us freedom. It allows us to be free flowing in life. It allows us to draw in unexpected, wonderful experiences. And that's what's so beautiful about allowing yourself to detach from outcomes. When we get fixated, when we have this fixed mindset of how the future is going to go, understand that the universe, God, has an infinite number of possibilities for you to get from where you are to where you want to be. From point A to point B, there are hundreds, thousands, millions of different paths you can take. And when you get fixated in your mind on one path, things happening in one certain way, in one certain timeline, and you think it's going to feel a certain way and be a certain way, you're actually limiting yourself. You're holding yourself in a chokehold pattern that's creating a lot of resistance instead of allowing for the flow of life and for the flow of God and energy to just move through you in your everyday experience. You're actually, in some ways, stopping miracles from happening. But instead, if you allow yourself to detach and let go and just surrender, there's so much more energy flow. You find so much more joy and gratitude in the little things, and then unexpected miracles happen left and right. And when you live in that state of bliss, you see miracles in the little tiny things, the little joys in life that are so important and so beautiful to allow yourself to be aware of, because that's really what life's about. It's about all the wonderful little things that we get to experience. The big things are just the cherry on top. Even the challenges and disappointments that we experience, they benefit you in some way. There's always beautiful lessons to learn from. And if you're sitting in a pattern of attachment and you're feeling disappointment because things were challenging, things didn't happen in a way that you wanted to, you're actually fixating on the disappointment versus fixating on, what can I learn from this? How can I expand from this? How can I grow from these challenges and experiences? And you're actually slowing yourself down. So, where you focus your attention is so important. By allowing yourself to detach, you actually give yourself energy to be in a state that's going to benefit you and that's going to help you move forward in life, versus fixating on something that you can't change, versus fixating on something that was just an idea. And that's actually creating a lot of distraction for you instead of focusing in on what you really want, which is finding more joy and love and happiness and manifesting more of what you desire in your life. There is so much wisdom in uncertainty. There's a reason why we don't know everything that's going to happen in the future. For one, the future is not set in stone. You have free will to create any future for yourself. And so when we have that uncertainty and we don't know what to expect, there's so many nuances and joy through observation and through just allowing yourselves to be present that we can learn. And so the wiser you become, the more you can manifest more joy, more love, and more of everything that you desire through the law of detachment. So I highly encourage you to sit with yourself. Take some time where there's no sound, no music, you're in a quiet space, no one's going to bother you for at least a couple of minutes, and just sit. And sit with your own energy. And I just want you to observe what you're feeling in your body. I want you to observe what you're feeling in your nervous system. What's going on in your mind? What emotions are surfacing for you? And just observe your experience and just notice it for a minute or so. And then see if you can just let go of everything. Let go of all that energy. Allow yourself to completely detach and surrender. See if you can get yourself to a point where you're just completely relaxed, where you're surrendering to the present moment and you're just letting yourself experience what is right there, right now, without thinking about anything, without feeling anything, but just feeling calm. Maybe just focus on the word calm, peaceful, joy, surrender. Pick a simple word and see if you can just feel that and allow yourself to experience what detachment really feels like. And then train yourself to do that more often. You can give yourself 5 minutes a day where you just totally surrender, relax, where you shut down your mind, you let yourself be calm, and you let yourself be present with your body and the energy surrounding you and the energy within you. And you train yourself to be in that energetic pattern. You're creating then a void that wants to be filled with all the beautiful things that you want to manifest in your life. So create that pocket, create that space, create that energy within you so that you have the open hands and the open heart ready to receive more of what you love and more of what you desire and more of what you deserve in life to experience. If you do that little by little, you'll notice that these moments of detachment will naturally start coming into your day every single day. You do have to train yourself. You do have to do this consistently and do it in a way that allows you to make it a regular practice. Maybe set a time of day that you do this. And then just wait and see. See what starts to happen. See if it starts to happen more naturally. Finding more moments where you are quiet, where you are open, where you're ready to receive, and just let yourself breathe. Let yourself be present. Let all that stress go and just enjoy what is. This is so important. Like, if we want to let go of our stress, we need to let go of the chaos that's in our mind and just be present with our own body and our own life in this very moment that we have. Feeling our heart beat, feeling our breath, feeling all that wonderful life force energy that's within you. I hope this helped you. Be sure to check out the download that I have for you on the 7 spiritual laws. I also have in my free download library a great meditation that I think you would absolutely love. It's called Calm, and it's helping you to release fear, to help release stress, and create a calmer state of mind and being. I think you're really going to enjoy that. So check that out as well. That's on my website, natalieschlute.com. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I can't wait to see you in the next episode. If you're ready to binge watch more episodes, be sure to go to my page on YouTube so that you can binge watch all of the playlists that I have for you on mindset, law of attraction, manifesting love, intuition, psychic development, and so much more.